And a pleasant good afternoon. Welcome inside Cordy Stadium here on campus at SIUE. We have got Ohio Valley Conference soccer for you today as the University of Incarnate Word comes to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. It is a cool and windy day, all the way bright and sunny day here as we get close to the end of the regular season in the OVC. Joe Pott alongside Daniel Rodier, and the Incarnate Word Cardinals are in a little bit of a downturn. They won 4 non-conference games. They've not won an OVC game. SIUE is a little bit different. They're on a 4-game unbeaten streak. As we take a look at our players to watch, Dan.
Yeah, our players to watch are brought to you by Justin's, the official recognition services partner of the Ohio Valley Conference. It is the leading goal scorer for UIW. It's Diego Robles, and a very good Diego Robles this season. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists. That leads the team on both fronts. He'll score PKs, he'll earn PKs, and he'll join his brother Noah Robles up both sides of each wing. If he's not finishing goals himself, you'll see it right about here. His brother is in position to do it. It's a very deadly combination at the top for UIW.
For the SIUE Cougars, our player to watch here this afternoon would be the big goal scorer, Evan Howard.
It is the big goal scorer and physically large Evan Howard. You will see him, I said this last time, even if you don't really want to. He's a goal scorer who showed up a lot in non-conference play. He's had a lot of shots. He leads the Ohio Valley Conference in shots. He's second in the OVC in shots on goal, but he'd like a lot more of those shots to go in the back of that, especially in a couple of these clips you'll see versus Lindenwood. He's also one to set up his teammates, which you'll see a couple times here. This is mostly just for himself, but he's a really good individual player that he's able to just set up his teammates if he needs to.
This trip last year for the Cougars, which took them through San Antonio and then to Houston to take on Incarnate Word and Houston Christian, it was a tough one for the Cougars. They tied, they lost, and now it's sort of a payback for SIUE. They got Houston Christian on Thursday. They're going to try to get Incarnate Word here on a Sunday afternoon as we celebrate Senior Day here in Edwardsville. We'll take a break. The opening kick, starting lineups, it's all to come as we bring you back. OVC Soccer is coming up on ESPN.
Are you ready to take your money to new heights? Get a flexible high-yield checking account that lets you customize your interest rate so you can keep your finances headed in the right direction. With Elevate Checking from United Fidelity Bank, you're in control of how much you earn. You can raise your rate with a few easy steps. Get more ways to earn more with Elevate Checking and start earning 4.00% APY. Learn more at unitedfidelity.com/elevate or visit your local banking center.
In Kentucky, we're moving forward together. Our businesses are winning, and our families are thriving. Because Kentucky is a place where business is fast, but the pace of life is just right. Now, we're looking at a new Kentucky, one where good jobs and a good life are possible for everyone. Y'all interested? We don't blame you. So come explore your new Kentucky home.
What's it like to be a student athlete in the OVC? We rise to challenges and challenge others to rise with us. We show respect. We lead by example. In the OVC, we become champions on and off the field. That's OVC Sports, and you've got to OVC it.
Founded in 1910 in the Ohio Valley region, German American Bank has been raising the standards in banking and wealth management for over a century. We're big enough to provide the conveniences of modern banking, yet small enough to care about the people and communities we serve. Because we believe that when a community thrives, its people prosper. Strengthening our community since 1910. German American Bank.
Member FDIC. Ready for a local getaway that feels like a world of its own? Escape the ordinary and discover the charm of Southern Illinois. With local wineries, live concerts, farmers markets, and scenic trails to explore, there's an adventure tailored for every taste bud and passion. Our breathtaking lakes offer endless possibilities for adventure. Rent boats, jet skis, or kayaks, and explore our world. Visit Southern Illinois. Start your adventure today.
two teams shake hands at midfield. We just had our starting lineup announcements. Let's take a look at today's starting lineup. First for the visiting Cardinals of UIW. Again, looking for the first win in OVC play this year.
UIW, since they started this season, they were the team to watch in the Ohio Valley Conference. You said it, they started with 4 out-of-conference wins. One of those was against a Southern Methodist squad that was arguably one of the best in the country, both ranked against them, a win, and a ranked Pitt that they drew with. Since they started OVC play, it has not been the greatest of results on the other side, though. When
I had a chance to chat with Kiki Lara before it, he said essentially they're just in a little bit of a downturn, but they still feel like they can turn it around the other way. As we look at the starting lineup for Cale Wasserman and the SIUE Cougars, they have turned things around. Yep. It's 4 games unbeaten. 3 of those are by clean sheet, so it's not just offense, but the defense.
Well, you saw the conversation I was ready to have with Noah Scheidweiler in just a couple minutes, but it has been a great defensive effort for SIUE, and that'll lead us straight into our starting goalkeepers. They are presented by Kentucky Tourism. Come explore your new Kentucky home. On the Incarnate Word side, it's Alejandro De La Torre. Last couple of years, he has been the man for UIW. He's the grad student out of Georgetown, Texas. He's 3rd in the OVC in every metric they track for individuals, goals against, saves, shots on goal, or shutouts per game, and saves per game.
For the Cougars, of course, as it has been all year, it is Noah Scheidweiler for the SIUE Cougars. He's back there somewhere, we promise.
You were talking about how they've been good in conference play. Since conference play started, he's top 2 in the conference, tied for 2nd in the conference in goals against average. He's only drawn with Ramirez of Western Illinois.
There is the Cougars goalkeeper. We are just underway. SIUE full white kits this afternoon. Incarnate Word in the red and black as we get started. Glad to have you along, Joe Pott. Daniel Roedier with you on a Sunday afternoon, second to last home game for the SIUE Cougars. They've got one more Thursday coming up in a couple of weeks, guess about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. But, again, it's been an upswing for SIUE. They look to continue that here. And weather's going to play a little bit of an issue for the wind, Dan. It is strong. It is out of the north, so it is at Scheidweiler's back here in the first half.
You know, I asked Siri this morning when I was leaving my apartment, hey, what's the wind today? And I was told 20 miles an hour and immediately was not thrilled. It is going to be windy not only for those in the field, but it will force me to tape down my paperwork up here in our press box. It's going to be a very adventurous match as Paulie's already going up the right side, wasting no time getting inside the area. First player for either team to do so.
Paulie will turn the corner. He'll launch it into the box. It's offside anyway. The flag is up here on the near side. When we talked to Cale Wasserman, he said, hopefully this is like our windy game last year. Carles Zemeno scored a goal from the defensive half of the field, 70 yards away or so, and he just launched it. It carried over the keeper and into the back of the net.
De La Torre, I believe, picked that ball up. No, they will play the offside. I was wondering if he had picked it up, but offside will hold true. And, I mean, we talked about Evan Howard, bigger above everybody, already winning a header, already giving himself a reasonable opportunity. Offside, but, hey, that's the early start you want if you're SIUE.
Now, De La Torre hit that ball well, and it floated at midfield because it was right into the wind. It's going to be the opposite, obviously, for SIUE, and I don't know who won the toss or how the decision was made, but I would bet that if SIUE won the toss, then they wanted to play with that win in the first half, and it's the other way around. If UIW won the toss, it means they want that win going at their backs in the second half. But I don't know who won, but either way, I think the win probably played a part. And here come the Cougars again, pushing early in this match, trying to get something started here.
Already a foul, make it 2 fouls, and 2 pretty hard fouls for UIW. Down in that corner, it's a pretty short corner at that point instead of what would usually be a free kick. But UIW, one just inside midfield, one now down well inside the 18, at least horizontally. And looks like this one, no love lost from the playoffs last year.
It's just coming 4-6 yards away from the corner, something like that, in closer to goal. SIUE and UIW have faced off in the OVC tournament twice in 2 years in the league. Here it comes, and it's loose in the 6, and it cleared off the line. Still not out of trouble. This one will come to the backside. They try to get it back in the box, and it's knocked away, knocked out of play. It's a goal kick coming up. That was saved off the line by Kamath, maybe?
It looked like Kamath. May have been one of the Robles brothers as well. You were talking about these two teams having no love loss. 2 times in conference play and conference playoffs, only 3 times in the regular season. This is the second time SIUE has hosted here in Edwardsville. SIUE leads overall 3-0-1. The only tie, not loss, tie was down in Texas last season. It was also the same weekend that the OVC faithful for SIUE lost their first OVC game.
That's right. First league loss came at Houston Christian on that. That was the Sunday. The UIW game was the Thursday.
Seems like SIUE and the 2 Texas schools that have joined as partner programs for the Ohio Valley Conference have not been particularly fond of each other since coexisting. Although I don't even know if you could call coexisting an accurate term there. Meeting both of them in the playoffs, semifinals, and finals last year. The draw and then subsequent loss last year in the regular season for SIUE. Most recent game against HCU, one where SIUE had to fight for every opportunity and finally got one to go through.
Yeah, physical game, no doubt about it. And Cale Wasserman said, frankly, it was, exactly as you said. It was just a game that they wanted to win. They, the teams, I don't know if it's no love lost, whatever the case is, but it's hard-fought conference games. And UIW is no different. Remember when we were talking to Ryan Pratt on Thursday, and he said, hey, when teams have to come to us in Texas, so we get our first yellow of the afternoon. He said when teams come to Texas, they have to play 2 really tough games. And then he said that's the same way now with Lindenwood and SIUE, but that's the idea. It's tough travel, it's long trips, everything that goes into it. And, of course, every other year you're going to experience that the way it's set up currently. We'll see if that changes, by the way. We know the landscape's going to change a bit in the OVC. Liberty will exit the Ohio Valley Conference as far as soccer goes. UT Rio Grande Valley will come into the OVC for soccer, so that gives you 3 teams in the Texas area. So it's Cornish and Zemeno on the ball. Cornish steps over. Zemeno put the brakes on. Now Cornish sends it in. Hugo Cornish. Zemeno will just send it up towards the 6. It is loose. It is deflected out of play for a corner.
Looked like a very calculated effort there for SIUE on the free kick. We saw something similar against HCU that led to the goal. In this case, for SIUE, they looked like they were pulling the old Philly out in the Super Bowl, where you have somebody distracted. Oh, they have a conversation. Somebody steps up. Oh, no, we both want to take the free kick. Oh, while everybody's distracted, let's take it. And nobody's looking. It looked like it worked perfectly. The only problem was the actual execution. There's now shoving inside the penalty area. These teams are not thrilled with one another. It has been 6 minutes and 4 seconds. Oh, my goodness gracious. There is pushing and shoving on both sides, and they still haven't even taken the corner kick. Shoving for SIUE looked like it was Dom Bartoni, although I didn't see who he got conflicted with.
Ethan Hackenberg will take this corner for the Cougars. And here it comes, low drive, down in the box in the volley, over top of the goal from Evan Howard. Nothing doing there on the first set piece, well, I guess the second set piece opportunity.
Really third if you count the foul previously in that
opposite
opposite
corner.
There
was a short corner.
They've
You're right.
They've had 3 pretty quick opportunities, and in 3
dangerous
very different
spot. Yeah, but you're right.
In 3 very different fashions, no less. not really sure what led up to all the shoving either. The first foul was a pretty aggressive one, but it was in the neutral third. Nobody really took offense to it. The one down in the corner was a hard foul, but it was one in the area of the ball. Not the end of the world. But here, SIUE's took some exception in some way, shape, or form. Dom Bartoni especially, who is now involved in this play, nearly won the ball, now gives it over.
There's a shot from long range, and that came from Paco Segura. Played fairly easily by Noah Scheidweiler. And see, SIUE not even messing with the wind at all, playing everything on the ground, or at least so far from the back.
Good forced win there. Looked like it was Daniel Murray to initiate down this side.
This is going to run out of play, just shielded out for a goal kick coming up. You can see as you look at the trees there beyond the field, it is really windy. It's a sustained wind. You're going to get some big gusts of wind, and that is going to play havoc with anything in the air today.
Not only that, it's big gusts of wind with some cloud cover occasionally.
Yeah, in and out,
right? You can't really
right?
see the shadows. You'll see it right now with most of those players. Shadows are going from right to left. That means sun is well off your right and in the eyes of Noah Scheidweiler. So, not only is the wind currently not really in his favor, but the sun isn't either. Something he may have the advantage on in the second half, but as the day goes on, the sun will go less and less out of people's eyes and more just over top of everybody. UIW
This one's
maybe,
coming square, and yep.
I would say UIW winning that coin toss, I'm almost certain, would have taken the guaranteed sun in their favor and win in their favor in the first half.
Hackenberg just ran over that one.
I think the spin got him.
Yep, maybe. Avanish, Kameth, there are two sets of brothers here on this team. I already told you about the Robles brothers. They are 1-2 in scoring for this team.
And they really have been for most of the season. Albeit limited goals for UIW. A lot of their results have been limited goals on both their side and their opponent's side. Example A, SMU win, I think 1-0. That Pitt tie, 1-1.
Offensively, in that regard, just goals per game, they're right there where the Cougars are, as a matter of fact. They have one more goal scored this year than SIUE does. Defensively, they have given up about, well, a little bit more. No, a little bit less, sorry. I was looking on the wrong side. A little bit less than SIUE has.
SIUE's given up, I mean, apart from, again, those last 4, maybe 5 games, an average of 2 goals a game to start off their season. That's really turned over recently. You saw it with Scheidweiler. Goals against averages improved recently. I believe it was 1.4 total coming into today. Since conference play started, he is inside 1.0.
So goals per game, UIW is 5th, SIUE is 6th. Goals allowed per game, UIW is 3, SIUE is 4.
Not a whole lot of goals scored, but
right.
Even fewer given up.
Yep, you're right.
Lindenwood and Liberty, I assume, are 1 and 2 in goals scored.
Lindenwood and Houston Christian. Hold on, sorry, looking at the wrong stat. Lindenwood and Liberty, you are correct.
Yeah, they Liberty and Lindenwood individual players lead almost every normal offensive stat. It is just an impressive thing when you open up the OVC website and see just parentheses Liberty, parentheses Lindenwood, parentheses Liberty. It is absurd to see the consistency, and it's actually a relative of one of these SIUE players who's at the top of the list inside conference play for Lindenwood. It's Luca Bartoni.
About 11 minutes gone in this game, just a shade more than that. SIUE's had a couple of opportunities on set pieces. UIW's got a shot on goal already coming from distance, but it's the only shot on goal for the afternoon. Pauly playing this one back for his defensive line mate, Wes Gibson.
Yes, the right back Pauly playing as a center defensive midi.
Yep.
I can't even call it out of position because at that point, the way he plays, he's always in position.
This one comes right through to Howard. Howard in some traffic, looking to turn, and he'll play it outside. Howard again. Sending one across the box. This is going to drift a little bit, but it's chased down on the backside. SIUE keeps it. This is Cornish. He'll play it all the way back for Zemeno. Out for Cornish again. He's got some room this time. Here comes the cross through the box, headed in the air, and that's going to go for a corner for SIUE. It'll be number 2 tonight.
Not a missed opportunity for Ethan Hackenberg, but he certainly would have liked to get up to make contact with that one. I don't think it would have gone in the back of the net. Honestly, a corner with him missing is probably better than a goal kick with him making contact. And he'll actually be the one. No, is that Carlos Semenya this time?
Nope, it's Hackenberg.
It is Ethan Hackenberg. They've kind of swapped some of the set piece duties on the SIUE side since we started this season.
That one right to the spot, headed away, but not out of trouble yet. And a shot coming straight on, just missed wide. That one came from Clausen. So that would be your left back, by the way, coming up to take that.
I was actually watching film for both our men's and women's game today, and you'll have this conversation with me in the women's game, mostly because I've done the graphics and I'm forcing you to. But Ali Fishering is in a very similar position to where Matthias Clausen just was. Very rarely taking shots unless it's a leak out on a set piece.
This one pinballs through the midfield a couple of times. It's coming all the way back for Arush Kameth. He'll play it up for Segura. Into the middle it goes. That's Noah Robles. Robles will send it up again to nobody in particular. He gives it away, and SIUE has it back. Archie McDonald with a cheeky little spin move right there. Through the middle it comes. Howard had it taken away. That's Padilla bringing it up for UIW. Segura didn't get a shot away, but gets it back on the left side. Segura spinning one, a header right on, but right to Scheidweiler. When they have had the opportunity, that being UIW, they have put together some good attacking pieces, and it's twice come to shots on goal.
It feels like they're very short-lived, though. That's a good opportunity that's created, but as soon as SIUE gets the ball back, they're not giving it over as easily as UIW has got it dispossessed themselves on a couple of occasions. Here's SIUE on another counterattack up the left side.
Hackenberg racing on. That's going to run out of play. There's that wind coming into effect there. That wasn't a ball that was hit with a ton of pace, and in a different situation, a different weather condition, Hackenberg is maybe able to run onto that, but not in this day or on this day.
Not only able to run onto it, but able to slow it down, allow the team to catch up. That ball just puts the brakes on in midair. Who equipped the F-22 air brakes to a soccer ball?
That's what you're going to see coming from that side. That's the tough part of going against the wind. It is also considerably cooler than it has been.
He's off. There were 3 players for SIUE, all in the neighborhood of being on or offside. So close yet so far. SIUE may disagree, however, I was watching at that time. He very much was. Our assistant referee on the close side, by the way, who just made that call, Lauren Deans, personal friend of mine. Nice guy, runs the men's league down in O'Fallon, if anybody happens to be in the area. Andrik Steffen is the AR2 on the far side. Joseph Hayden is the alternate and 4th official. Yusuf El Masusi is our center referee. Good couple of headers in the midfield for SIUE.
Cornish with Bartoni making a run on the other side of him, but it's taken away by Segura. A little tap ahead by Padilla, and UIW trying to get something started again. can't say that I'm a fan of the black numbers on the red jerseys.
No, especially when it's dark out.
That's hard to see.
I'm so happy this is a day game.
It is
and
good.
Then we played
we'd
HCU
be in
first.
trouble, yep. But they're not easy to see here today either. Right through the middle it goes. It comes right out to Robles, who takes a shot. It might have been deflected. It wasn't. So maybe he just kind of scuffed it there, and he sent it up and away, and it'll be a goal kick for SIUE.
As it was kind of bouncing up on him, just looked like it sailed off the outside of his foot. He was trying to keep it low on a line drive and a half volley. And the half volley either poorly timed or fighting the wind, just unfortunately managed. SIUE gets the ball back. You know, the first 8 minutes of this game, chippy. Very, very chippy. Since then, it seems like these teams have calmed down, I think is a very keen way of putting it for the time being.
Zemeno, a nice job right there to keep possession of it for SIUE. And they're going to reset through Scheidweiler. Scheidweiler driving one up. Evan Howard racing on, and it's just a 2 steps or so in front of him. Man, again, a different day. That might be a different result.
Looked like Evan Howard was hesitant to go for it, too. He wasn't sure if – I'm not sure if he thought he was offside or if he knew the ball was outrunning him. But if he doesn't hesitate in the midfield there, he's got a decent chance at that. He put up his right arm saying, hey, nice ball. That may be my bad. Possible missed opportunity. And he's one of the big factors of SIUE as we take a look at our keys to the match. They're presented by the German American Bank. Technology backed by people at German American Bank. You talked to head coach Kiki Lara, just trying to find out who they are.
Yeah, he talked specifically about kind of being in a downturn, and when you come on the road like this, you kind of can turn things around. He feels like they still certainly have the ability to turn things around. Those are his words.
Yep.
They need to find out, he said, we need to find out who we are and bounce back, just as it says, from a tough stretch here.
Well, SIUE, they're undefeated over the last 4 games, kind of a contrast to the lack of wins for UIW. As of recent, they're looking to just continue the streak here in the core part of their OVC season. Still a couple games on the horizon. Evan Howard is like 15 feet off sides, but he wasn't going to get there anyway.
We mentioned it, too. 3 of those games are by shutout for SIUE. The only goals in the 2-2 tie at Southern Indiana a week ago. They had the scoreless draw with Lindenwood in there. The 2-2 draw, as mentioned, against Southern Indiana, and then wins against Eastern Illinois and then Houston Christian on Thursday night. Toss in coming up. Rouge Kameth. It's out of India, came to UIW from an LSU satellite campus in Eunice. His brother the same. Hackenberg for SIUE outside. It's Clausen in the middle, and he's going to swing it this side for Bobby Pauly. That leaves 2 on the back line right now for SIUE. Short little cross into the box and ultimately through the box.
SIUE, another well-built opportunity there. It seems like the crosses in just keep slightly sailing on the SIUE Cougars, whether it's the original touch that isn't destined for that specific direction, or if it's those trying to put a head on it that aren't accounting for the elements. It is a fairly nice day in October, but it's a windy day in October. You'll probably hear us talk about that many, many times here in this game, arguably many, many more as the game starts to heat up and the day starts to heat up when we get into the women's game. It is a windy one, and it's not going to change for the better anytime soon.
24 minutes or so to play here in this first half, a scoreless game. Shots are even 3-3, but 2 of UIW's shots have been on goal this afternoon. SIUE does not have a shot on goal. Zemeno will go all the way back through his goalkeeper. Kiki Lara motioning for his guys to pressure that. When it does come back, pressure that. They'll reset through Torres in the back. Segura up this left side. Can they push something here? That's Robles, Noah Robles, who will put one into the box. Gibson just steps it away. Semenyo trying to get it out, though, for SIUE and does send it up the line. Howard with a little touch. Hackenberg keeps it alive. Going to try to send Howard through the middle, and it's taken away. Cornish and Howard were converging on the middle there.
You saw it when we were highlighting Evan Howard as our player to watch. He's very good at slowing the play down and giving himself another opportunity to be the furthest man forward. That was so good. He allowed Cornish to enter the conversation as well. Great touch. That all starts with Wes Gibson knowing he's got help and not having to just one touch clear.
That one right into the box. No one there. The clearance comes out to Bobby Pauley.
Pauley's back on the right side today, by the way, with the left foot.
Cornish got a cross in, but it comes right to De La Torre. Oh, and who's down?
Oh, no. It's not Bobby Pauley.
Mm-mm.
Is that Bartoni?
That's Cornish, actually.
Cornish on the right side when he put the cross in. Hopefully just got a cramp as he was turning the corner. Appreciate Yusuf Al-Masusi, the official, immediately recognizing that, stopping play while it's still very convenient to do so with De La Torre having possession. Give an extra second to hopefully recover.
And the good thing is he did get up, didn't have to be looked at, so I'm guessing you might be right. A little cramp there as he served it up. Again, that's something that with cooler weather will be
much easier.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately much more prevalent.
Yep.
That warm-up even more important here. The colder the games get, the longer the teams will spend on the field prior to the game, and the more extreme, closer to game time those warm-ups get, because they quite literally become warm-ups at the time. For yourselves, for your muscles, really for everything involved.
It's Evan Kranzel right there with the little give, and now he's got it back. Kranzel, the top of the box, looking to get free for a shot perhaps. Instead, he'll lay it off in the box. Robles got one. It's deflected, and wisely, Scheidweiler over to hold on to it, because otherwise I think that would have been a corner for UIW.
The Robles is playing with the chemistry as if they've been playing together their whole lives, probably because they have, but it's the comfortability inside the area. We've seen them do that before, notably at HCU, where Noah gets the ball from his brother and is able to just capitalize on an opportunity. No reason to rush, especially in that position if you are Diego Robles. And UIW, again, decent opportunity that is created off of not as much of a build-up. SIUE, a lot of build-ups, a lot of repeated build-ups and momentum over time, yet they haven't capitalized on those momentum swings as quickly as UIW has on some individual efforts.
SIUE has subs waiting as we get to the 20-minute mark here in this first half.
I would not be surprised if this is the most substitutions SIUE brings in a single game.
Well, the other part of that, of course, it's the second game of a two-game weekend for both of these teams. And so, you know, that's going to test the fitness level a little bit. And it's not that they're not used to it, but it does change the way you sub, and probably, as you say, Dan, the frequency with which you are going to sub.
So Colin Bastianoni will step in. He'll take over for Dom Bartoni. And then it's Paulo Jr. who will take over for Daniel Murray.
And you've seen the starting lineups shift a little bit from Thursday to Sunday as this one is coming out to Segura. He couldn't get much behind it, and Scheidweiler races out to hang on to it.
Good awareness from Scheidweiler, knowing that any touch there was going to be in his direction and would have to be. Diego Robles and him exchanging a, I believe, friendly word or two after making some sort of a collision as Scheidweiler was collecting the ball. Again, just a ball that sails on Evan Howard. It's going to have to be either more elevated and allow the wind to take it, less power, more horizontal, Or in SIUE's case, you said it when we started, just play it more on the ground. Wind's not going to have as much of a factor when friction has more so.
Another push here from the Cardinals. This one will drift into the box. Pauly trying to head it away. Segura will chase it down for UIW, but it's taken away. That's Bastianoni back to defend, and then Pauly able to turn it upfield. Brought back under control by Padilla. He'll leave it for Kameth. This is Noah Robles. Noah couldn't force it through traffic. Segura chases, but Pauly will, well, didn't quite clear as a matter of fact. And now Noah has it back. Little touch right to the top of the box. Popped up in the air. Archie McDonald heads it. And it's finally out of play, out for a corner.
Good opportunity for Bobby Pauly to try and build a goal kick there, but sometimes you can try and do too much. Pauly was trying to clear it back off an attacker for the goal kick rather than just clearing it either out of play for a throw or out of the danger zone and up the sideline. It gave Incarnate Word another opportunity, which they otherwise would not have had.
Noah Robles will take this first corner.
That's his brother rushing onto him.
They go short and right back. Robles off the top of the 18, puts one in, and it's headed away. That's out of play.
Evan Howard listed as a forward except for on set pieces where he becomes a third center back. You'll see him winning headers up and down the field. 50-50s in the middle and on both sides of each corner kick. Just won one there and helped to turn a UIW clearance. And he's very quick to be just the second man to cross midfield, despite the fact he was the furthest back maybe 15 seconds ago.
We talk about how he's so tall, so he's got the long legs too, man. His strides when you run, like he's taking, a stride and a half compared to some of those guys out there. So he covers some ground, but you're right, going from box to box for Evan Howard. Segura with a little touch right back into the middle. Kameth will leave it for Robles. Noah trying to force it to the outside.
Really good drive from Noah Robles just to try and beat through the wind.
And we've got a foul coming against UIW. It's going against. Oh, Tober. Bryce Tober? Yeah, gotcha.
Shade under 30 minutes gone here in the first half. All in all, it feels like a fairly even game. SIUE with more opportunities overall. UIW, despite the fact they've had limited opportunities, have built them into more success over time. They've actually taken more shots, and they have the only 2 shots on goal. They also, until about 8 seconds ago, had all the fouls. SIUE finally whistled against.
This restart will come just in the defensive end for UIW. Now we're half an hour gone here in this first half. Another push here for the Cardinals after the restart. Dangerous, a turn at the top of the 6, and it's blocked and now turned away. The shot came from Robles.
No Robles. Looking exactly like his brother Diego Robles. Evan Howard's offside again, by the way. They could throw the flag for it because he impacted the goalie. They won't for the time being. He may very well have been close to on. Diego Robles did the exact same thing against HCU for the game-winning goal there.
Zemeno let that one get under him. Back the other way it comes. Tober will send it over the top. On the receiving end, I think, was Diego Robles.
Correct myself, it was for what would have been the game-tying goal. HCU went on to tie that game up. Ended in
another one over the top. Hackenberg couldn't run on.
He did make contact with it there. He's going to try and keep this alive.
Roshane Baker, the defensive player, back to stop him. He was the second team pick in the OVC last year, an all-newcomer selection. That's out of play. It'll be a Cougar throw from in front of the coach's bench here. Pauly goes very quickly.
Just out of frame, Kiki Lara was saying, hey, get over here. They're going to take it quick, and apparently nobody heeded his advice.
Yep. As soon as that ball went out, Kiki Lara was motioning for his guys to push over to that sideline. Here's Hackenberg. Well, to prove your point, Dan, more subs coming in for SIUE and guys that we didn't see a lot of or any of on Thursday. In fact, one we haven't seen much of, period, this year. But that is what happens on a Sunday afternoon when you've played a hard-fought Thursday night. You've got to find fresh legs where you can. By the way, that's Jake Karolzak at the sideline. You can't tell because his hair's all gone.
I was about to say, he looks so different.
I didn't
identify
recognize him last night either.
It's a good thing he's got his number on. Let's put it that way.
I was at the banquet last night with them for the Jack Blake Awards, and I said, oh, my gosh, I didn't recognize you. He said, yep, I got it all cut off today.
Good for him.
So Murray Pert will check on with Jake Karolzak. Pert, the Australian, who has played in 4 games this year. Karolzak, we know normally, I would say, as an offensive substitution, a lot of times later in games, Dan, but this just talks to your point about, hey, you're going to see more guys today.
Pert, I think the most extreme definition of that. Howard, stock standard, still winning headers.
Goodness.
And creating them himself. Karolzak in, and you said we haven't seen him in a little while. He hasn't played since the Southern Indiana game a week ago today in a 2-2 draw. He was a pretty big factor in activating the 2 redshirt freshmen who both got their first career goals back in that matchup. Didn't get an assist, but I believe he would have gotten a second assist if scorers were a little bit more generous.
12 minutes to play, a little bit less as the Cougars push again. Again, no shots on goal yet for SIUE. They've gotten 3 shots off, but UIW has the only 2 shots on goal in this game.
Both of them very dangerous shots on goal. They would have had 3 if it wasn't for a sliding effort by Archie McDonald.
That one just out of the reach of Pert. UIW has it back. Torres will send it over the top. Gibson will head it back for his goalkeeper.
Another good reason that SIUE is trying to set up more of those subs is because they've got a difficult road ahead. Luckily, they've got one of the easier roads ahead compared to some of the rest of the OVC. Here's the strength of remaining schedules in the Ohio Valley Conference, just to show you the winning percentages of teams they will play. Lindenwood at the top of the OVC, they have the second easiest strength of schedule remaining. Sorry, third easiest. It's Liberty with the easiest. SIUE included in that conversation, only on a technicality. SIUE, their remaining schedule, Western, Eastern, and they head to Liberty. That's the hardest part of their remaining schedule here in the Ohio Valley Conference. UIW, by the way, the hardest. 583. That is tracked based off of the win percentage, including draws of remaining teams.
That's out of play, just out of the reach of Colin Bastianoni. This wind is stirring something up that is just blowing right into the booth. Little pollens or little.
It was in the bleachers
things
earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd refer to that as.
Coming off the bluffs over there, probably. There's any number of varieties of trees. We're going to miss the really good part, though. If you get into the later in the fall, that bluff changes, and it makes a tremendous backdrop here at Cordy Stadium. But with just a game remaining, we're going to miss the best part of that. Last couple of years, of course, the tournament is played here, so you get soccer into mid-November. But that will not be the case this year in Edwardsville. In fact, the last game is the 30th, which is when SIUE will be here on that Thursday to wrap up the home season.
It's a pretty big week that week for SIUE. They've got the week off in terms of home matches over this next week, but starting Tuesday, it's women's volleyball versus Lindenwood. Thursday is that men's soccer game. They'll host Western. Friday and Saturday, we've got a Halloween doubleheader in women's volleyball here for the Cougars. And then come Monday, Tuesday, that's when the men's and women's basketball season officially starts.
If we have to be here to work on Halloween, I want to know who's bringing us candy. Someone should bring us candy. They should have candy
Should we get ESPN
for the crew? That would be great.
We get lunch between games. Is that a thing now? Trick-or-treaters between games?
Yeah, maybe. Here's an opportunity again. This is Robles. Diego fires, and it's pushed away. It is not quite out now. It'll be cleared out for a corner, but a good save made by Scheidweiler. That's another shot on goal.
Good track back for Matthias Clausen as well. He's the one who headed it out of play. Two separate Cardinals in a dangerous position to put back what would have been a dangerous rebound. Scheidweiler deals with the shot well enough to where it's out of the danger zone for 2 or 3 seconds. In the air, allows Clausen to get back. He would have already gotten back in position should there have been a shot, but he's got some help from the outside. There was no opportunity.
7:25 is this corner.
They won't go short to the other Robles brother this time around, at least not immediately.
Here it comes, curling into the 6. Finally cleared out by Bastianoni.
Colin Bastianoni just kicked it up to himself and then cleared it. Yeah, he just cleared it out like he gave himself a drop kick.
He just needed a little air, right?
I mean, when you got an extra 2 seconds,
you got to get it up in the air and
might as
give it a boot, right?
Talk about playing the wind. That was impressive. Inside the 6-yard box, by the way. Just casual.
This is Segura for UIW, putting it over the top. Poked away briefly. Not cleared yet. Clausen will chase it down. So too does Tober. Ooh, that's a late whistle, but it's going to be a foul against Matthias Clausen.
Well, it looks a lot worse than it is. I'll remind everybody, the officials do have headsets on and are having conversations with one another. I do appreciate late whistles because it means they've had a conversation, talking about what they saw, ensuring both angles, because at that point, the assistant referee on the far side and the center official have exactly 2 different angles, 180-degree difference between the two of them. Have a quick 2-second conversation. Foul? Yes. Foul? Whistle. That's why the assistant referee puts his flag up late. If the AR puts his flag up early and the center referee agrees with or disagrees with him, you lose all your credibility for the remainder of the match.
This one will slide to the top of the 18, and SIUE sniffed it out pretty good. This is Evan Howard trying to give himself some running room. Evan Howard on the left for SIUE. They catch up. Karolzak in the box. Karolzak, a little shove. This is going to be a penalty, I believe. Just a little bit of a shove against Karolzak, enough to knock him off his feet. And we might be looking at the first penalty of the day. A very costly foul for UIW. So a yellow card. The foul was called. The penalty is coming up for SIUE. We're inside of 5 minutes to play as we take another look right here. And that is not, I said Karolzak. I misidentified him. It was Pert who just got enough. It was just enough of a push to knock him off his feet. And we've got a penalty coming up here for the Cougars. SIUE is 2 of 3 in penalties, and Evan Howard has taken all 3.
So to say Evan Howard is more specifically 2 of 3 in penalties.
So he's going up against Dela Torres here to try to put SIUE on the board in the final 6 minutes, final 4.5 minutes, rather, of this first half. Howard steps back. Here it comes, and it's saved. The rebound, though, is tapped home. Howard got it anyway. Howard followed his shot. He taps it in. It's goal number 7, and SIUE, with 5.5 minutes to play before the half, is up 1-0.
Alejandro De La Torre gets the touch on the ball and nearly saved himself again by proxy. His contact forced so much spin off of it that it forced Evan Howard an extra second to look, an extra half second to adjust himself. He barely got anything on the second touch, but fortunately, De La Torre was well too far out of position to pick that one off.
There was nothing behind that second shot. It was
I think it was the wind.
Roll it towards the line, and he rolls it over, and SIUE has a lead here with 5:29 officially to play before half.
Opponents are 2 for 2 now on penalty kicks taken against Alejandro De La Torre, although technically that is a goal in regulation, not a penalty kick, and I think that is
absolutely
so unfortunate for everybody who likes to keep stats, because officially Evan Howard missed the PK, so he gets a goal in regulation, which is a better stat than making the PK. And I feel bad for Alejandro De La Torre, who not only has to face that,
so a late first half goal here for SIUE. And the chance to go into the half with a lead, though there are still 5 minutes to play here in this first half.
UIW has given up a goal apiece in both of their most recent losses in the first and second half. 2 goals scored in each of them. In the Southern Indiana game where they drew even, both of those goals were given up in the second half of play. UIW scored their second to make it 2-0 and thought they had run away with it. Southern Indiana's like, we're not done with this one just yet. Neither is SIUE.
Pauly into the middle. Karolzak let it go. Karolzak let it go, he thought.
Look at Evan Howard. Evan Howard's tapping his chest. I think Evan Howard called him off.
Said something, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he called him off. And Karolzak, that was the dupe. He made that late call. Evan Howard, I'm not sure if he saw the defender come out of his peripheral vision. Missed opportunity.
Pert was trailing, but it didn't make it all the way to him either. But there was definitely a little bit of a miscommunication there. A shove there, no call.
Evan Howard gets the Dikembe Mutombo from our center official. No, 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 not today.
Wagging the finger at him.
Absolutely.
3:40 to play. Here we go again. It's Pert into the middle for Karolzak. Karolzak waits, sends it in. De La Torre is out off his line to take it away. And, man, Howard may have been half step off, but De La Torre took it away anyway.
Half a step off sides or off the ball?
No, offside,
okay.
I think, yeah.
I would agree.
I thought maybe he was just a little bit offside.
You ask really any goalie ever, and they will tell you, I'd rather have the ball in my hands.
Oh, man, yeah, for sure.
Than an indirect free kick at the top of the 18.
Into the wind, nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah, no question of that at all. De La Torre.
So that they're calling the foul. This looks terrible because absolutely the ball was gotten, but the first foul is what they called. There was a absolute trip before the second play. The referee decided to play advantage for an extra second, and while yes, the ball was won the second time, it was not won the first time. They'll pull it back. That's the conversation SIUE is having right now of, hey, you saw the ball scored out. So did everybody else here at Ralph Cordy Stadium. And our center officials saying, yeah, but before that.
Got missed a sub somewhere along the way for UIW. Celo DePoco's in this game, and he's standing over the ball. DePoco had a monster 2023 season in the OVC. But it is him and Noah Robles over the ball. DePoco steps over, Robles takes it, and it's knocked away by the wall. May have been Murray Pert. Jump up and block that away.
Something I'm not sure we brought up. Noah Robles is on a yellow right now for what I believe was that PK.
It was, yeah. Correct.
Didn't notice it because we were all wrapped up in the PK.
Manny Martinez and Celo DePoco both came in, by the way, that I just didn't see. 95 seconds to play here in this first half. Right now, SIUE with the lead.
They did it right after the goal. That's why they didn't see it.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Good ball up for Karolzak. He's trying to win it up the left side. He does. Good win. Oh, nice little turn as well. some style.
The minute 18 to play, Karolzak got a shot away. It was deflected, and it comes right to De La Torre.
That may have been a pass. It was only deflected in the neighborhood of De La Torre because of the deflection. It looked like he was headed for Evan Howard just inside the penalty spot. Howard gave him a little thumbs up. I appreciate the charades from Evan Howard. He gives me a very good idea of what he's looking for most of the time.
Inside of a minute to play now. Zemeno to midfield. Howard trying to bring it under control, and he does. And the Cougars wise to focus on possession here over the last 40 seconds or so. That's skated past Bastinoni.
Can't imagine this one lasts too much longer. UIW's got a last gasp at this one. Shade inside 20.
And it'll drift to the sideline. Tober trying to play it farther outside.
What a win.
Bastianoni, Bobby Pauley will give it a good clearance. Howard will give it a little boot on goal. De La Torre hangs on, but that's it. That's the end of the first half, and it will be a 1-0 advantage for SIUE as we go into the break here on this Sunday afternoon. The second to last home game for SIU Edwardsville, and they will take a 1-0 lead into the break. Dan and I will come back in a bit. It's halftime here in Edwardsville. You're watching OVC Soccer on ESPN. We're back in Edwardsville. Halftime rolls on here. SIUE on top of Incarnate Word. 1-0 here at the break. We welcome you back inside the booth here at Cordy Stadium. Joe Pott alongside Daniel Rodier as we have gotten to halftime thanks to a late penalty. And we take a look at our halftime stats presented by United Fidelity Bank.
All in all, it has been Incarnate Word more efficient. While they did not have nearly as much possession in the early stage, they made up for it in the later stage of that first half. A lot of the shots in the early stage of this half went their way. Shots on goal at one point were 3-0 to UIW. Again, would have been 4-0 if not for a sliding effort by Wes Gibson. And for SIUE, it has been a slowdown from the start. Got a little bit of help from a penalty kick, about 6 minutes or so remaining in this first half. But apart from that, it has not been the best of finishes for the Cougars.
Again, they're brought to you by United Fidelity Bank. United Fidelity Bank serving their communities since 1914. Time to take a look at some news and notes as well around the Ohio Valley Conference as we take a look at what's going on elsewhere in the league.
Coming into this week, HCU, Liberty, and Lindenwood entered tied at 10 points. They are now separated by just 3 points. USI at 1 point was unbeaten over the last 4 games. That continues now into today because they just have not had any losses. Unfortunately, over those last 4 games, they also haven't had any wins. They started 1-1 in conference play. They are now 1-1-4.
And, of course, the OVC Championships coming up November 9th, 12th, and 15th at Hunter Stadium over at Lindenwood University. That's just across a couple of rivers from here. We'll take a break. We've got more to come from Edwardsville, 1-0 at halftime. SIUE on top of UIW. Coming back on ESPN. Sunday afternoon halftime here in Edwardsville, the penultimate game for the Cougars' home schedule here as they lead UIW 1-0. Joe Pott, Daniel Rodier, Cougars on top in this one, and as I said, we're coming down to the last remaining games here in the OVC this year.
It has been a real tale of two different teams in this season for UIW and SIUE. We had that conversation to start off the day. Let's continue that conversation now. Let's take a look at the OVC standings as they stand at the start of today, the end of the day yesterday. You can see it here. Liberty 4-1-1 with 13 points. It has been a big difference for Incarnate Word, though. Again, 4 out-of-conference wins. A win over a ranked Southern Methodist that is still a very good roster. A draw with Pitt, yet they don't have a win inside conference play. Southern Indiana, that's the team we talked about a little bit ago. They've got 4 consecutive draws, which Ted Lasso would be furious about as of this part of the season. SIUE is still within touching distance of a first-round bye. A win right now would put them even with Liberty, assuming Liberty does not pick up a win themselves.
Now, one thing to note about that is if Lindenwood stays in that top spot, that number 2 seed has to go to a team from the other side of the bracket. So if SIUE and Liberty, let's say, were to end in a tie for that second spot, Liberty would have the number 2 spot. They would have the bye, along with the regular season champ being Lindenwood, if things stay. But what you're seeing is a lot of teams jammed up at the top of the conference now, which includes SIUE, which wouldn't have been the case even just a couple of weeks ago. Let's take a look at the remaining schedules and what those look like and the strength of schedules. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedules. That's presented by Sunbelt Bakery. Tastiest flavors under the sun for UIW. That's what it looks like. Houston Christian on the road. Then they will have Southern Indiana Liberty to finish off the schedule at home before the OVC Championships. For SIUE, it is at Liberty, as Dan mentioned earlier. That will be a tough one. They come back for one home game in between before finishing the year on the road at Eastern Illinois, and then, of course, the OVC Championships.
Interestingly enough, for both of these teams, they've got Liberty in the near future, and Liberty just played Western Illinois. That game finished because they played at Western Illinois, and Liberty had to get back to Lynchburg, Virginia, so it was an 11 a.m. Central Time start. That game finished maybe 5 minutes ago. A draw 1-1 with Western Illinois. That is superb news for SIUE, not only fighting with Western Illinois on the lower side of this playoff bracket, but also looking to maybe match up with Liberty on the top end. Like you said, they may not get the bye, but they'd certainly get the highest non-bye seed should they finish second.
That's what it looks like here at halftime.
Let's take a look at our strength of remaining schedules for these teams. We had that conversation kind of midway through the first half. Perfect conversation to carry over after the upcoming schedules. Lindenwood, a fairly easy strength of schedule remaining, given how they've already looked here in conference play. Liberty, same thing. It's a very similar inverse grid to how they're lined up in the standings. Higher up, you've got easier games ahead of you because you've got teams that are on the lower side of the bracket and vice versa. Incarnate Word, a very unfortunate position for them to be in. Without a win right now, not counting this SIUE game, they've got the hardest strength of schedule remaining, and they're still looking to pick up their first win in conference play.
Both the teams making their way out of the locker room. Incarnate Word has completely made its way out of the locker room. The Cougars haven't yet. They're trickling out, though, with still a minute or so to play here before halftime. We'll take a short break, and we'll come back, and we'll have the second half for you here on a windy Sunday afternoon. Back here to Edwardsville after this on ESPN. College soccer all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Lots of OVC action, of course, on the ESPN app. We have more to come here this afternoon. When this game is over, we'll have women's soccer for you. It is the final home game for SIUE on the women's side as they face Morehead State for a senior day for the women, but everything coming down to the wire in both the men's and the women's side, but the women's side obviously about a week ahead. So This is real close to crunch time on the women's side.
Yeah, women's has a few games going right now. For the men's side, specifically around the Ohio Valley Conference, about 12 minutes ago, the other squad from Texas, after crossing a couple rivers and heading over to St. Charles, Missouri, they are actively on against Lindenwood. You can watch that alongside this match, but I'd recommend you keep our audio on.
Everybody would love to see Houston Christian in that match against Lindenwood, because if you deal a loss to the league leader, well, everybody gets to benefit from that. Everybody down low moves up.
I'm putting it this way.
Moves closer.
As soon as this game ends, that is going to be my between games entertainment. The tail end of that Lindenwood HCU game. Again, SIUE will take on Morehead State on the women's side at 3 p.m. Central Time.
Well, we started, and now we'll start again.
The reason we didn't is because the ball was moving. It is that windy. The ball was moving from a standing position. The referee had to play as if he was the punter and an extra holder on an NFL kickoff just to make sure it stopped moving and allowed play to restart.
The ad boards on one side of the field, too, just went completely over right before we got started in the half. They're trying to fix those now at the corner on the northeast side of the stadium, which would be left as you're watching this game. Cougars in white, Cardinals in red. Hopefully Cardinal red.
Looks like Cardinal red to me.
Makes sense if that were, I don't know what the official color is, but it's something like that. It's a slightly different shade than what SIUE wears.
He says this while ironically working alongside the St. Louis Cardinals, by the way.
We're a minute into play here in the second half. SIUE scored the only goal of the game 4.5 minutes from the end of the first half. This is DePoco. DePoco letting a left foot go. Archie McDonald, I guess, stuck his foot out, deflected it away. It's a corner coming up for UIW.
It makes you feel any better. I was going to say Evan Howard, too. I looked at him and said, wait a second, why is he inside the 18 on not a corner kick?
Both tall, both single-digit.
Now that I say that, they're standing right next to each other. Both of them are just inside the 6, just north of Noah Scheidweiler.
So the corner coming up, second of the day. It is DePoco to take it, punched away by Scheidweiler. It was in swinging towards the back post. And Wes Gibson knocks this chance away.
Gibson did not want to tempt fate on that front. And looks like Bobby Pauley is down. Just outside the 18 on the far side. It looks like he's grabbing his nose, maybe making sure he doesn't have a bloody nose. It looks like he is all right, has gotten up under his own power, and we are ready to kick back off and underway.
Right to the edge of the box comes the throw. A turn and a blocked shot. DePoco comes away with it. DePoco with a half volley through the box, and he may have hurt himself. Oh, he's mad about some contact in there. And he comes right up in the face of Zemeno.
Carlos Zemeno, I don't know what ticked him off, but Zemeno's saying he should be thrown out.
Because
Did I miss something?
No, DePoco came up looking to swing. I mean, he was mad about what he perceived as some contact on his attempt, on his shot. Well, this will set up for an interesting 42 minutes here. We'll see how this shakes out. It's another corner right now for UIW, and DePoco again will take it. Left-footed in swinging from Cello DePoco. To the spot, headed down.
That was Evan Howard.
Looking for an opening. And it's poked away. It'll be a throw now. An aggressive UIW start to this second half as they try to equalize here.
I took a quick look back at that play. All it looked like was some contact was made with Wes Gibson, maybe with the cleats on a brushing angle. Did not look like enough to set Carlos Zemeno off the way it did.
Kameth out for Padilla. who keeps things moving, and they switch it off to the left side of the field. Not 5 minutes gone here in the second half. A couple of opportunities for UIW. It remains a 1-0 game right now, though. Kamath to the center of the box, or the center of the field, in front of the box, rather. Bobby Pauly nods it away for the moment. The other Kamath plays it out wide, and here comes a short cross. Robles couldn't get a clear head on it. It comes all the way back to the end line for Scheidweiler.
Scheidweiler eventually going to pick the ball up. Hopefully he doesn't get Robin Van Persied into the ground. Does not seem like Diego Robles wants to trigger the referee that far. A couple notes on substitutions when we restarted play. Krenzel is back in for Manny Martinez. Paulo Jr.'s out. Bartoni back in. Bastianini out. Daniel Murray back in. Same thing for Murray Pert. That's Hugo Cornish taking a spot, and Ethan Hackenberg has retaken the center attacking midfield responsibilities from Jake Karolzak. Or the left midfield responsibilities from Jake Karolzak. So mostly as you started for both squads. Couple subs that have carried over for UIW, but
so Roosh Kamath playing it back. Padilla now for the Cardinals. He gets a little shove in the back, and that'll be a foul against Murray.
Quick play down the left side. UIW wasting no time.
Coming strong to the back post. DePoco didn't have a clear knock at it as it came off of Matthias Clausen.
Perfect header by Clausen. All he does is put an extra touch on it, force a adjustment for the player behind him, and a good win on this close side. Follow up for Clausen. He wins the throw-in as well. Great sequence for Clausen. He understands he can't put enough on the header to clear it out. If he does, it could be more dangerous. Any slight touch is going to throw off the attack and allow him to get back in position. So then he plays defense. As he turns, he's back in a spot to win the ball. He does so and is able to win 2 separate throw-ins alongside Evan Howard.
Howard on the sideline for SIUE. Trying to work out of trouble. He did. He still has it. He'll send it over the top, looking for Bartoni. Bartoni able to settle at the top of the 18. Trying to tap it for Bobby Pauly. Didn't get enough on it.
Couldn't tell if Bartoni was trying to swim move around a defender or swim move a tag. World Series is on the horizon. He's in a baseball mood, it seems.
Pert wins this one for SIUE, or I should say Murray wins this one for SIUE. It's Murray, Pert, and Daniel Murray.
Ironically, they replace one another.
Easy to get interchanged as DePoco has it on the right side now. Cello DePoco. Had it poked away. It'll stay with UIW. DePoco wanted the throw, and now we've got a foul. Came late, came after the play. DePoco is not making any friends in white today. And DePoco earns the yellow card for the late challenge.
Yellow card issued to UIW. Free kick to the Cougars.
Right in front of the SIUE bench as well. They had a perfect view of it.
Yep.
Obviously, that's going to set them off if nothing else would have. But, I mean, watching that one back, pretty simple yellow. You're not going to do a whole lot from that position to earn anything further than that. But that is also the conversation of, why are you doing that? Why in the world would you put yourself now in a position on a yellow in a game you're down by 1? A reminder, UIW's had a red card impact them before. It was in the HCU game. It was a second yellow. Officially, it was written down as a red card in our live stats. Threw me off for just a second. But in that game against HCU, a red card, I believe, it was for Manny Martinez on a second yellow. And then he wasn't able to play the preceding game. That was against Liberty in a 1-2 loss. Both teams have been impacted by red cards this season. Archie McDonald has had 2 red cards and thus has missed 3 games plus the tail end of 2 separate ones where he got the red card. That's the only time he's missed for the Cougars.
Up to get the header is Hackenberg. Get out over the near side. Throw coming up for UIW. SIUE holding on right now to a 1-0 advantage.
Correct myself, by the way. It was Giovanni Padilla who got the second yellow against HCU, not Manny Martinez. That second yellow, by the way, came with 8 seconds left against HCU, about 8 feet above the top of the area.
SIUE is 2-1-1 this year when leading at half.
Ethan Hackenberg took the throw. As the referee was telling him he can't take the throw, quick apology, play is able to restart. The beauty of being able to stop the clock in college and high school, you are a little less likely to earn a delaying the restart yellow card because all you're doing is stopping the clock rather than actually costing the other team time.
Padilla plays it back. Again, Padilla right in the midfield. They'll bring it near side. This is Kamath. DePoco. Cello DePoco to the middle of the box. He wanted a free shot with his left foot. It wasn't there for him. Manny Martinez plays it outside. Bobby Pauly up to get it. Zemeno will help it out. Here's Howard now with some room on the right side. Evan Howard on a goal today. He scores after his penalty attempt was saved by Alejandro De La Torre, but Howard followed it up, was able to tap home the rebound, and that's the goal we have here this afternoon.
Good patience for Hazani Torres, not rushing himself into defending Evan Howard there. Now Howard wins it anyway.
Howard sending one, curving through the 6-yard box.
He actually got some help with the wind, keeping that in play. Wind still moving left to right across your screen, north to south if you're a fan of cardinal directions, or the Cardinals for that matter.
And hopefully Howard, I think Howard was probably aware of that was going to get hung up a little bit. But
yeah.
He definitely used it to his advantage to bring it back into the 6 like he did.
Playing the environment. Usually something you have to do on grass rather than a very nice turf field here. Bob Gilker Field, Ralph Cordy Stadium.
That's the other thing, and this is an offside call against UIW. That's, those little things come into play when you talk about home field advantage. Obviously, SIUE is practicing here every day.
Yep.
And so they see all the conditions all of the time, not just during game time. So they have an idea of how those things are going to play out in this facility on this field.
There are a couple grass fields in the OVC. Eastern Illinois, I believe, falls under that
yep,
category.
They do. They're grass.
Western as well.
Grass, yep.
And I want to say Incarnate Word may be grass. But I don't think – they may be playing on their turf field
I don't think
football.
so. They play on the football field.
I know
think,
HCU is turf. No, it is – UIW is also turf because UIW hosted.
Turf. I don't know. Houston Christian might be grass. That one I don't know about for sure. Here's DePoco again on the right side for UIW. Again, trying to cut it back. He'd prefer to shoot with the left as that one's pushed out of play. It'll be a throw. Quick throw for UIW. Trailing in this game as Roshane Baker brings it ahead.
Good find on the inside. Carlos Semeno made some contact. He does not seem to be thrilled with the call, but it's a pretty reasonable. He made contact with Cello DePoco as DePoco is playing the ball. Now, granted, DePoco's off balance. He's playing a ball and not aware that there's going to be contact behind him. Not saying that anything would have knocked him over, but enough that Carlos Semeno did, especially with the lower body, certainly did. You're a lot more likely to be called for a foul on marginal contact on the lower body than you are on the upper body, especially from behind, especially on a player not looking at you and maybe not even aware of your position. So Carlos Semeno, well, he could say, and validly so, that he barely touched him. Still probably a foul.
DePoco is over the ball, so is Noah Robles. It's Robles right on the ball right now, but for DePoco, this would be a left foot curler. That's what he wants. That's what he gets, and it's blocked. That was the idea of having Robles there, slide it to him for a left foot shot. And we've got a foul coming against UIW. It'll be SIUE free kick right at the top of the 18.
I love the evaluation of that free kick as well, because most of the time with those, you're trying to set up something for an offside trap to avoid an offside trap, make it look like it's an indirect free kick. The other option is get it around the wall. That wall is ever so meticulously set up by every goalkeeper. Scheidweiler included, he will set it up with the front post, he'll play the back post. If you get it around the front of that wall, then you get to avoid any risk of having to deal with the wall that is ever so expertly positioned on the front post. Good idea, but SIUE read it well.
Yeah, you take away that positioning that the goalkeeper, as you said, meticulously worked to do, or worked to
he's like, I've gone through all this effort.
That's right. No, that's exactly right, though. That is, I mean, folks don't realize that wall is usually lined up even with the near post. The goalkeeper then can work to guard the back post. But by moving that free kick, that's exactly right. You either force that wall, either the wall's out of position or you're forcing it to move and hopefully exposing vulnerabilities. DePoco again. Foul called this time, a handball called.
DePoco, unfortunate break there. I think the spin is what got him on the handball. DePoco is ever so well behaved now that he's on a yellow card, politely giving the ball back to SIUE. It seems like a whole different man now that he's in the book.
Coming down to a half an hour left in this game as McDonald serves it up. Evan Howard trying to work around some traffic. Hugo Cornish almost caught up with that.
Bobby Pauly.
SIUE has not had any real attacks here in this second half yet. It has been far and away UIW, the aggressors here. DePoco able to pull it away. DePoco at the end line. He'll bring it back to his left, or wants to bring it back to his left.
Matthias Clausen taking advantage now of the off-balance player, and from a very legal position just steps in front of him. DePoco tried to do too much. Ends up losing the opportunity.
Howard's going to pressure this one all the way back to De La Torre. 30 minutes left here in this one. Out to the sideline. Kamath keeps it in on the sideline. Daniel Murray nicely done to control it. Archie McDonald with it now for SIUE. Hackenberg ends up face first on the turf, and here comes UIW again.
Hackenberg trying to earn a foul there. He didn't really have an option to go anywhere with the ball, so he was just trying to pick the foul off. I think it was pretty well read by our center official. It said, no, you're not getting that one.
They'll work from the left side now. Kamath sends it into the box. Gibson got ahead to it.
Felt like he had hands to his back as well.
Here's DePoco again. Hackenberg couldn't stop it. Finally, it's poked away, at least briefly, and it'll be Baker to chase it down for the Cardinals. Hackenberg knocks it out of play. Roche and Baker can give it a toss.
Evan
Senior
Howard
out of Kingston, Jamaica.
Evan Howard still pleading the case for Wes Gibson from earlier. Gibson won the header, but he would have been able to clear the ball, and easily so, if he wasn't forced into from behind.
Again, this has been pressure, pressure, pressure from UIW.
I don't know what was said in the first half, or the halftime meeting.
Pauly trying to bring it out for the Cougars. McDonald, look at the pressure here on the ball coming back. Lots of pressure. DePoco looking for a foul, not going to get it. Robles sends one, and it's the shot came from Martinez. Robles gave him the opportunity. Martinez put it wide, and SIUE will get a goal kick.
Robles, another catalyst to success here for Incarnate Word. And he's been taking a couple shots. His brother's been taking a couple shots, but it's Diego Robles who's, if a couple of those shots are on target, he'd have probably 3 or 4 assists at this point in the game. He's been really clean with the passes he's looking for and very concise with what he's been aiming for as well. No real extra touches that he's needed, especially in dangerous positions. They continue to force dangerous outcomes from the dangerous positions rather than just giving the ball over for free, like SIUE unfortunately just did on an unfortunate touch. Colin Bastianoni, by the way, is back at midfield.
Despite the possession difference here in the second half, there hasn't been much in the way of shots on goal. In fact, there has not been any shots on goal by Incarnate Word in this second half. So they've had a lot of opportunity. They just haven't really finished off the opportunities, finished off those chances.
It's also a question of how far those chances are getting for Incarnate Word. Again, a couple of opportunities that have been created, but how dangerous are those opportunities directionally, positionally as well? Martinez's shot, for instance, pretty dangerous opportunity, but not a dangerous execution.
DePoco on the right. Zemeno able to sniff that one out at least briefly, got to it, saw the pass was coming. Jumped the route, if you will. Here's a long shot, sails high, goal kick coming up.
Kiki Lara, if you didn't hear the clapping, that was the head coach of Incarnate Word. He is thrilled with the opportunities that the Cardinals are creating. Even if they aren't on target every time, the shots in general have been existent. While they haven't been on target, while they haven't been for anything specifically dangerous for SIUE that Noah Scheidweiler is going to have to get up in arms about or up in heart rate about, it's certainly something he has to think about, and he'd like to avoid that, certainly if at all possible, as this one continues. Bastianoni in, by the way. Dom Bartoni is the one who took the break.
Kiki Lara in his 6th season at his alma mater at UIW, spent 5 seasons as the soccer director at EIU, in charge of men's and women's soccer. So he is familiar with the league, obviously familiar with UIW, where he is a Hall of Famer. Ethan Hackenberg making a push there. That's going to stay right on the sideline for the last second until it was booted out by Roshane Baker, and SIUE will have a throw.
First real development for SIUE anywhere in the neighborhood of the attacking third.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they're actually in the attacking third, but not much coming yet. And a whistle and a foul. It's coming against SIUE.
Looks benign, but the only reason that Carlos Semenya is the first one to that ball is because of the foul from Bastianoni. Ever so slightly grabs a hold of a Cardinal who would have had control, and the Cardinals end up getting a free kick out of it and continued possession. Another opportunity there for the Cougars that just doesn't generate. That one shut down, by the way, because the Cardinals were a little too far forward. Looks like they wanted to take it quick anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But formalities are formalities for a reason.
A little pressure from SIUE as De La Torre tries to clear it away and ends up clearing it out over the far sideline.
If anything here for the Cougars, this is where you reset. That's what they're doing through Pauly. More than likely, I was going to say to Gibson. They end up doing it through the middle with Daniel Murray.
Down to 23 and change to play here in this second half.
Well, SIUE is not in a rush to move the ball forward. They also would not like the ball to be in their defensive third for longer periods of time. Both players, by the way, were offside for the Cougars. They should have this in play. They were lucky it didn't get through. Otherwise, they wouldn't have possession anymore, and they end up losing it anyway. Hackenberg and Evan Howard were the two offside in that position, by the way. What an outside, the foot little trivela around everybody.
Again, using the wind. Wind was going to help that one along. That one picked off by Avanish Kameth. And this will come all the way back, chased down by Baker.
You can see right now Kale Wasserman, bottom of your screen, there we go. He is one of the more animated instances of Kale Wasserman right now. He has had more charades and arm movements than we've seen for most of this season. Really trying to hold on to this lead and direct the troops in the correct direction. Not sure what he's found that needs adjusting, but first foul in a little while on Incarnate Word. SIUE will escape with that one. Bastianoni, the one taken down.
At 1-0 here, certainly nothing decided, and with the amount of pressure that UIW is applying here in the second half, you know it takes just a single good opportunity. So here come the Cougars now on the right side. An insurance goal to go a long way for SIUE.
SIUE's pressure finally building off. That's what Kel Wasserman's been asking for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Building more pressure. They finally turned it into something here.
Zemeno still with it.
Beats DePoco.
Outside it goes. This is Clausen for the Cougars. Gets it back to his right. Slides it through the box. Hackenberg in the 6. Ethan Hackenberg looking for space now. Hackenberg will send it back post. And it's poked away. Nicely done by Arush Kameth. Got his left foot out, poked it away, and at least gave his defense time to reset. Zemeno again, sending it down the right side, and it's picked off. Lots of pressure from the Cougars there on that exchange. It'll be a throw coming up for SIUE. It's a 1-0 lead. It's been that way since a few minutes left in the first half. Officially, the goal came in the 40th minute here this afternoon. Came after a penalty. The penalty was stopped. The rebound was scored.
Uh-oh.
And now the Cougars have given it away. Good ball ahead coming from DePoco. That is Robles. Diego Robles. And this will be a foul against Archie McDonald, rather.
Archie McDonald having a conversation with Laura Thiens, the AR on the close side, like, really, man? Did I really foul him? Answer, probably yes. Looked like he was keeping his distance legally with his left arm, but as Robles was getting ready to turn, McDonald got him around the left arm, kind of pulled him back. It's the reason Robles hit the turf. Now, albeit, Robles certainly sold it, but it can be a foul and a good sell job all at the same time.
DePoco will take it with his left. He's going to approach it just like a corner.
Noah Scheidweiler's.
Right to the top of the 18. Nothing doing there. Wes Gibson able to clear it away. And Gibson yelling at his Cougar defense to get out, to sweep it away.
Put in some guys that want to run, then. Let's go.
Scheidweiler out to hang on to that one.
So for all of you who may or may not have just gotten a flicker of black here on our ESPN broadcast, we apologize for the technical issues. This time it's not exclusively us here in the booth. Last time out against HCU, we had a Windows update decide to run in the middle of our broadcast. Today, a quick power flicker has knocked out our scoreboard. That's out to your right. Evan Howard trying to build through everybody now.
One scoreboard's on, one is not.
Yeah.
So here come the Cougars again. Cornish couldn't get anything behind it, but he's pushed enough that it's a foul. And SIUE is going to have a free kick coming in now. Della Torre.
Somebody's getting a life sentence? Is that what I just heard? Well, conveniently, the AD here at SIUE, Andrew Gavin, walked out as that foul happened. He may become an official in his near future. He was signaling for the card as it was being given.
Hackenberg, Zemeno over the ball for the Cougars.
Arush Kamath is the recipient of yet another booking, courtesy of Yusuf El-Masusi, our center official.
Let's see what SIUE can do with this free kick. It's coming slightly to De La Torre's right, outside the box. Hackenberg will take it. Low drive, nothing doing so far. And this one will be a foul on SIUE after it bounces off a couple of players. We're down to about 18 minutes to play here in this second half. It's a long pass ahead. Nothing doing there. DePoco knew immediately he wasn't going to catch up to that one.
I was going to say, even with the wind, that one had a little bit too much mustard on it.
Video board is back, so things appear to be coming back to life.
Even our PA system just came back. That was the Windows sound you just heard in the background. Everything's almost back to normal here at Ralph Cordy.
Stays on the sideline. Padilla trying to bring it under control for the Cardinals. Lost it momentarily, but UIW keeps it with 17 to play here in the second half. SIUE on top. UIW has been pressuring hard in the second half, but still has not put in a shot on goal. Neither team has a shot on goal in the second half.
Good win by Clausen. Find a teammate, get it back, and do something with it. He ends up keeping it in play. What a turn for him.
Here's Zemeno now, trying to send it ahead to Howard. Howard able to turn momentarily. Howard still on it. Nicely done. Defended by Roshane Baker, who got back and poked it away.
Roshane Baker in a furious battle with somebody so much bigger than him, keeps the lower angle of attack and takes advantage of the slide. He goes across Evan Howard rather than through him, gets the ball. Yeah, sure, Evan Howard gets upended, but it was all a legal tackle and a very good one. Exactly what
Martinez tapping it ahead now. This is DePoco again. DePoco looking for his left. Still couldn't get a full shot away. He wants so badly to get a shot away with that left, but every time that he's had any kind of look, it's either been blocked or he's not gotten anything behind it.
A couple quality blocks for the Cougars. But
he's frustrated. He has just clapped his hands in frustration as he walks out with 15 minutes and a few to play here as this one is punted away by Scheidweiler. This will be a foul. And a yellow on SIUE.
Is that Bastianoni? Hold the phone. Ripped to the ground. Is that Hackenberg?
I don't know, but now we're going to have to probably go to – that's going to be a straight red card for UIW, and we're still shoving. Worse is going to come from this if it continues. It's Azani Torres who's going to go off for UIW. So we talked early in the game about it getting a little chippy. We saw a little bit of pushing in this second half. And we've also got a yellow on De La Torre. So Torres, right? Or no, it was DePoco, it looks like maybe. Or no, he's just standing on the sideline. So
it was Torres.
Torres gets the red. The yellow goes to De La Torre.
I believe there was also a preceding yellow to all that, maybe to Colin Bastianoni.
That was the original call. I think you're right, is that Bastianoni on the initial foul got the yellow.
Cardinals are still pleading their case. Evan Howard involved in the conversation, but it seems like he could grab a popcorn and be just as productive.
They're going to play with 10 men for the rest of this game. That's 15 minutes and 20 seconds that UIW will play a man down.
Torres has just made his trip.
Ben Perkins and Murray Pert come on for SIUE.
told you about red cards impacting this game much earlier. That one was just a development of frustration, and it was something that wasn't really needed. Incarnate Word had the foul. They had the ball. The yellow card was given. There was nothing else that really needed to be done to deal with that play if you're Incarnate Word. Yeah, you could be not thrilled and vocalize it rather than not thrilled and physically assault somebody at that point. But that is just a development of what I think has been building from the first 6 minutes of this game. There was a yellow card, 2 or 3 fouls, and a decent bit of pushing and shoving when this game started. And apparently no short memories here between Incarnate Word and SIUE.
See if SIUE can take advantage over the last 15 minutes. And for UIW, they've got to really pack it in to defend here. Makes it much harder to be as aggressive as they had been, especially in the beginning of this second half.
UIW substitution number 15, Evan Krenzel.
Evan Krenzel is on. So they try to get their personnel right now. Again, having to play a man down for the final 15 minutes of this second half of this game.
I feel like this is a very similar position that SIUE's been in really twice this season. Early on in the conference season when Archie McDonald, or just out of conference season when Archie McDonald had that yellow into a second that he earned against Loyola, where they tried their darndest to pick up at least a couple of opportunities at shots. They just weren't able to pick it off. And then again at Omaha.
Number 9, Evan Howard. Number 10, Hugo Cornish. And Incarnate Words, number 99, Alejandro de la Torre.
So apparently Cornish and Howard both get yellows.
He has been disqualified.
Here's Zemeno. If you're SIUE, becomes a possession game right now. You're just looking to protect that lead, and if a chance comes to add to that lead, certainly they wouldn't be opposed to taking it. They can push a little bit. For UIW, they've got to be a little bit more defensive-minded here. And maybe not. Maybe that's not the way they'll go about it, as Pert goes into the box but doesn't do much with it. So they'll push right now. This is Robles, Noah Robles. Back for DePoco. Cello DePoco. Padilla. They keep it moving. They'll go all the way to the left side with 14 minutes to play in the half in the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if SIUE sees the position Incarnate Word is in as something similar for SIUE when they played against Lindenwood here at home on homecoming. That was the last weekend of September. SIUE had a late goal given up, and it was a real opportunity for them to score a couple goals. And what they did in that position was just sell out for the goals. There's no real reason to try and play for the goal differential when goal differential is third on the tiebreaker list in the Ohio Valley Conference. So they were saying, hey, we're either going to tie this one apiece and sell out for that, or worst comes to worst, what, we lose 2-0 instead of 1-0? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Incarnate Word position, especially with where they are in the standings. A reminder, UIW is 0-3-3 as of right now in the Ohio Valley Conference. Top 6 teams make it to the tournament. They've only got 3 total points. That cutoff right now is set at 7 points. They need at least 2 wins to make it, and they'd probably like a little bit more on top of that in their final 4 games of the season, this one very much included.
Howard was wrapped up right there and no call, and wasn't happy that there was no call. We're down to 12 and a half to play here in this game. Still not a shot on goal in this second half. And the clock's going to stop. Thought he stopped the clock. He did.
Although I'm not sure why. That's for the sub. Although that wouldn't clock either.
Shouldn't.
Literally.
Paco Seguera will check in. Cello DePoco will check out. Saw a lot of Segura in the first half before DePoco came on. But I think this is the first time he's checked on in the second half, and I think Cale Wasserman is actually asking why the clock just stopped for that substitute. Or I guess now it's taken a while for the free kick to develop, but I think that was, he went to the fourth official. Ooh, a header twice, and Bobby Pauly's second header got Scheidweiler off his line. Scheidweiler didn't realize the second header was coming. He's diving left as the header went right. It ends up out of play for a goal kick, and there's a Cougar player on the ground right outside the 6-yard box.
I think it's Matthias Clausen.
Connor Imboden is the SIUE athletic trainer. He is waiting his time before he is asked to come on, and now he will come on.
Evan Krenzel was the Incarnate Word Cardinal who had a decent opportunity at that one. Unfortunately, he got run into by a teammate. Probably would have been a penalty had it been a Cougar. Scheidweiler now joining the Cougars and pleading their case. Possibly for a foul, but from what it looked like up here, Clausen may just have made incidental contact with the Cardinal while both of them were going up for the header.
I'm assuming Clausen will come off. He is walking off with the athletic trainer, Connor Imboden, who just gave a little signal that they need to substitute right now.
It's Elliot Forestier, who looks to be taking his position.
So Forestier in, Clausen coming off.
Forestier is not a name we've said all that many times around here, at least not in Edwardsville. His last game played was back against Southern Indiana. Same case for a couple of the Cougars here. Those Sundays leading to more Cougar players.
Forestier sending it over the top, looking for Cornish, and backtracking to pull it away is Arush Kameth.
Played against Eastern and Western alongside Lindenwood in their opening few matches of the conference season.
Again, we will have women's soccer for you on ESPN Plus coming up in a little bit. Just over an hour from now is the kick for the women's game as they finish their home season. This is Howard on the right for the Cougars. Howard trying to turn the corner. It's out of play. It's going to be a goal kick.
Oh, and Evan Howard's not going to like that.
He thought it was a corner. He thought for sure that was a corner.
He ever so conveniently, by the way, just kicked the ball onto the field, which will stop the clock. That ball.
Jake Karolzak is subbing on as well for SIUE, so he'll come on for Hugo Cornish. "11 minutes on the nose as the clock stopped."
Karolzak, another senior honored here during Senior Day for SIUE. Women's Senior Day, as it is their final home game as well. Or their final home game, period. Men are having their Senior Day on a Sunday just to celebrate it all in one place. Good win, by the way, for Karolzak. Also looks like he may have just won the throw. He did. Fortunate little bounce.
Again, UIW playing with 10 men. A red card for Hazani Torres after an altercation. Here's Howard again. And then there's no foul there. That's out of play for a throw. SIUE will keep it. We're in under 10 minutes to play. So a throw from near the corner spot. They'll keep it low for Howard, right outside the box. Howard guarded closely by Arush Kamath. Howard trying to turn it.
Surprised that stayed in play.
And it's a goal! It came right down to the 6, and Murray Pert has banged it in for a 2-0 advantage. Wow. Talk about using the wind. That ball on the end line just kind of floated back to the 6, and there was Pert waiting, and it's his first as a Cougar.
The true freshman out of Elibana, Australia. Listed as a defender. Has been playing a little bit of the midfield here for the Cougars, taking over the position, ever so conveniently, of Daniel Murray. And it looked like Evan Howard was just going to slow things down in the corner, not rush himself into anything whatsoever, maybe earn himself the corner. That's what it looked like. It just looked like he was going to slow it down, play for the corner kick that he didn't earn maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago. He puts it around the defender. The wind takes it back further into play, and Murray Pert's in a perfect position to deal with it. 2-0 Cougars, and I don't think they're done with this one just yet. Pert's going to get it again.
From the left this side, he'll try to play it into the middle.
Semenya gets beat, but it's just a reset for the Cougars. Bobby Pauley now. He's got help on both sides, will favor Semenya, and then over to Forestier. Pert still up on Forestier's left. He'll get it once more.
Slides it in the middle, looking for Evan Howard. So a 2-0 advantage. We're inside at 9 minutes to play.
And SIUE at this point just... You were talking about packing it in for UIW when they were down a man. How about being up a man and up 2 goals? Insurance goals are something that the Cougars have very rarely come by.
But much needed in this case, you feel like, if you're SIUE.
The only time they had an insurance goal previous to this was the Air Force win. They had 2 goals in the first half. Air Force only had 1 in the second to make up for it. When they played Southern Indiana, they too picked up 2 goals in the first half, they being the Cougars. But Southern Indiana was able to pick 1 back before the first half ended, so there was technically an insurance goal.
Forestier chasing this one down, shielding out of play, a goal kick coming up. So we're inside of 8 minutes now.
Wouldn't be surprised if this next change is destined for the more defensive outlook for the Cougars in these final 10 minutes or so. Next game for them, they've got a few days between now and their matchup with Liberty in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's a Saturday matchup.
Next change is, I think, meant to get a senior onto the field here on Senior Day. That's going to be my guess, as it's Carson Gibbs who has come to the midfield, or to the check-in table, but he is one of the seniors that were recognized. In fact, I think they probably have all gotten in at this point. Not all, most, and I should say all that have been playing on a regular basis, or that have played on a semi-regular basis. You're not going to see Patrick O'Day, obviously, as one of the backup goalkeepers. Doesn't look like we'll have a chance to see Garrison Hill, who has seen time in a few games during his career.
Same thing for Enrique Esquero.
Yep. Here's Pert, little touch. Use some speed, bring it back into the middle for Howard, and it got away from him.
He was aiming for the back foot of Howard. That was exactly what he was looking for, but it just kind of slid and turned away from Howard. No wind on that front. But
Perkins doing his part on the far side.
Earns the foul. And that should bring in this substitute. It will.
Carson Gibbs, the St. Charles native, who spent some time with the Billikens before coming here to SIUE.
Substitution number 24, Carson Gibbs.
Looks like he will be taking off. A fellow senior. Goal scorer and an assister in this one. Evan Howard was our player to watch for a very good reason.
Yeah, 3-point day for Howard. Seven goals on the year for Evan Howard. Leads this team. He has for most of the year. Now 2 assists. 16 points for the Cougars as he exits with 6+ to play here in this second half. A 2-0 lead for SIUE. By the way, the Cougars have not scored more than 2 in a game this year.
It's actually exactly what the commentators over at Southern Indiana said right after the second goal. Watching some of that game back last night, although I don't remember if it was last night or this morning at that point.
Somewhere between yesterday and today. 5.5 minutes to play. Another push for SIUE. Karolzak thought it was going to be a little give and go, and it'll be out of play for a goal kick. Bastianoni tapped it in for Karolzak, who then put it back near the end line, but Bastianoni wasn't there yet.
Bastianoni, I think, was going for the overlap on the right side of Karolzak rather than down towards the goal line on the left. Either one would have been a good result, but the only thing that isn't a good result is if the ball goes one way and the target then goes the other.
Gibson up to head that one out of trouble. Helped out by Perkins. Final 5 minutes. SIUE looking for a 2-win weekend. The Cougars have not done that this season. 2-win week, I guess I should say. They got 1 at Air Force on the Colorado trip. They got 1 against Eastern Illinois after losing to Western Illinois. They've had a draw and a win. Or actually 2 draws last week, Thursday and Sunday. Now it could be 2 wins. And the Cougars looking to run their unbeaten streak to 5 games. They're also 4 minutes and 10 seconds away from another clean sheet on the defensive side. So this is a team that certainly appears that it is coming together, that it is playing some of its best soccer here late in the OVC season.
SIUE will have the longest unbeaten streak until Southern Indiana maybe finishes their game later.
Gibbs out wide for Bastianoni, playing it through the box. That's in the air and kept in play nicely by Roshane Baker. He got his foot to it, but then he got there and made sure it didn't get out of the end line.
Not only that, but he did it while all standing straight up. As you're turning like that, it's a miracle he doesn't fall over flat on his back. Baker, good balance, good speed, a good balance of balance and speed.
It's going to be 8 games straight without a win for UIW unless they have 2 goals in them over the last 3 minutes and 13 seconds of this match. Karolzak couldn't get a foot to it. Flag was up anyway. Wouldn't have counted. Good ball ahead, just a little bit early developing. Inside of 3 minutes to play. Daniel Ordonez will come on. Sophomore out of San Antonio. He's on for Krenzel.
Krenzel, the true freshman out of Las Cruces, New Mexico, has gotten a decent bit of playing time this season for the Cardinals and has been a big, impactful individual player as well through that midfield.
Noah Robles playing it back. A goal at the end of the first half for the Cougars. A goal coming in the 81st minute here in the second half for the Cougars. Talked going into the Thursday game about getting other goal scorers involved, which is what they did at Southern Indiana. And now you've got, in this weekend, 2 first-time goal scorers, and Zach Renz on Thursday, Murray Pert here on Sunday. So there are a lot of positive things trending for this SIUE team. With 1:40 to play, they'll send it up the left side for Forestier. Elliot Forestier cuts it back to his right. Now Pert again. Zemeno for the Cougars. And Forestier will knock it all the way back for Gibson.
Some good and bad news for the Cougars around the Ohio Valley Conference. Halftime at St. Charles. Lindenwood hosting the other squad here from Texas, Houston Christian. It's 1-0 Lindenwood at the break there. Good news for the Cougars because it means they now, assuming this game ends and that one ends the way they are currently set, will have third place to themselves. Bad news, they cannot get a bye if Lindenwood is one of those top two teams.
50 seconds to play here in this second half. Bobby Pauley pushes it ahead. Gibbs couldn't hang on, but it's out of play for SIUE with 35 seconds left.
Looked like foul before the ball ended up escaping out of play. And SIUE's played it pretty quickly.
Yep.
Karolzak, I'm surprised, wasn't offside.
Well, he's going to head to the corner anyway and try to hang on to it. Well, it's going to skate out over the end line. Goal kick coming with 17 seconds left. Alejandro De La Torre will give it a boot at some point with 10 seconds left. In fact, they just play it short. This one's going to end in a 2-0 score in favor of the SIUE Cougars, and that unbeaten streak has gone to 5 games. 4 of those games have been by way of shutout as SIUE wins this one 2-0 over Incarnate Word for the 4th win of the year and the 3rd in Ohio Valley Conference play as SIUE moves to 11 points in league play with the win. And again, it's a long winless streak for UIW as they come up short today here in Edwardsville. Final score 2-0. We've got another game to come for you here from Edwardsville in just under an hour. It'll be SIUE women and Morehead State women, and that one is coming right up. Until then, for our entire ESPN Plus crew, for my partner Daniel Brodier, I'm Joe Pott from Cordy Stadium in Edwardsville, where the final, once again, is SIUE 2, UIW nothing. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. So long for just a while.